John and Julie, great to be with you again, talking about these issues in the Middle East. John, first of all, here in Israel, they're in uncharted political waters. What's the latest twist?
Absolutely. The latest twist is that Lieberman, Avigdor Lieberman, the head of the Ysrael Beytenu party, has said basically there's no way that they're going to come up with a unity government between now and the time that the deadline expires. So that basically means that they're heading for elections sometime in February at the earliest and into March later on.
And this is historic, right?
It's historic. Uncharted waters all over the place. Never 3 times in a year for elections. Never this kind of deadlock among the Israeli electorate. And the question, looking into it, if this really works out like that, is how are Israelis going to change their vote if they have to go to the polls for another election?
Julie, while the political instability inside Israel is going on, there's threats all over the place here in the Middle East towards Israel.
That is for sure, and probably the biggest one, or the one that's behind everything, is Iran. You know, I think it's interesting, though, that even though there's all this political turmoil in Israel, the Prime Minister Netanyahu, man, he just really steps up to the plate when it comes to Iran. He met with Secretary of State Pompeo, and he said he had his first 3 things to discuss were Iran, Iran, and Iran. So Iran is definitely moving in. They're trying to set up the bases in Syria. Now there's word that they've been trying to move missiles into Iraq. There was also apparently another strike on an Iranian base in Syria. Prime Minister was asked if he had okayed that for Israel. He just didn't comment on it. So, Iran is definitely there everywhere. Yes.
Yeah. And John, the NATO meetings happened this week in London, and one of the big issues there was Turkey. And there seems to be an interesting relationship and dynamic between Turkey's President Erdogan and the U.S. President Trump.
Right, with just about the rest of the world criticizing President Trump for having this relationship with Erdogan, and the facts coming out that Turkey is seeking to enlarge its empire, if you want to call it that, it's got people scratching their heads. I think there's something that Trump wants from Erdogan that we're not really hearing about right now, but in the meantime, Turkey's looking more and more like a bad actor in the Middle East, even though they're our ally and we have nuclear weapons parked right in the middle of the country. So trying to figure out Erdogan is going to be another challenge on top of the Iran situation Julie was talking about.
Exactly.
And President Trump, the last thing he wants is any kind of conflict or war heading into the 2020 elections.
Exactly, yeah. One more big political story we'll be watching for. John, Julie, great to be with you. And John, great to have you back here in Jerusalem.
Thank you, Chris.
Alpha,